Let's all scream. Let's all scream. Scream, let's all scream.
Hi everyone and welcome to Let's All Scream. I am Saleh Al Braik
I'm Hassan Al Marashi.
And I'm Shehlaa Ali.
and this is our fourth podcast, guys.
Yay.
Exciting.
Yeah. And as we mentioned in our last podcast, we're doing social distancing. So we are not physically together when you are listening to this podcast, but we are recording it now at the same time that we recorded the last one.
Yeah.
Trying to, promote that stay-at-home culture and also for the safety of ourselves and our loved ones. So we are trying to do a couple of them, multiple at the same time, and then hopefully give you consistency every week.
Yeah, and just because we don't know what's going to happen with everything, so just to stay
Positive and proactive.
Yeah.
And
And
hope
just to clarify, so Shehlaa and I are still in the same
Same
place.
house.
We're married.
she ain't going nowhere. It's more about because I'm the odd one out, so I move from
No,
my
you're
house
you're
to
not.
come.
You're our
I wish you guys can
You
see
can-
his face trying to
I'm
look for a
trying to-
compliment.
yeah,
You
never, forget it.
complete
Never mind.
us.
Yes, you're our third half. That's terrible math, by the way.
But we're being proactive, and so we're recording this. So maybe something might be a bit outdated, but I don't think a lot. Well,
No.
actually, I was gonna say I don't think a lot can change in 2
Literally
weeks.
every day something new is happening.
But yeah.
But speaking of staying at home, since we're all at home, I'm sure a lot of us have been spending a lot of time on social media. Except Shehlaa, since she's been, you never know, by the time this one's out, you might have broken and been like, no, I need
I
to see
really-
what's happening.
I really hope not. I
But-
like it.
Hi, future
For
Shehlaa,
now.
if you're listening to this.
But yeah, so whether it's to look at what's happening or just, as a distraction, I think social media is definitely, I mean, it has always been part of everyone's daily life, but probably much more so now. And with that, I wanted to get your guys' thoughts. So something that has been very prominent in the past, I want to say like couple of years, is cancel culture. And basically what cancel culture is someone will have said something in their past or maybe said something recently, and people on social media will take offense to it, sometimes rightly so, sometimes it might be an overreaction or they could have misunderstood what the person meant. And that person is essentially cancelled, quote unquote. And they're basically, it's the reputation is ruined, and that's kind
Yeah.
of a stain on them pretty much forever. And sometimes, there's legal ramifications, or, they're just ostracized from society.
And they lose their entire livelihood
Yeah.
overnight.
So I wanted to get your guys' thoughts on this. I have, so my opinion on it sways. I think, in general, I think with a lot of the topics, such as racism or just being culturally offensive, I think with that, that's justified. If someone says something, I don't know about canceling them, but I think they should know that what they have said is offensive, because that in turn, like those damaging comments, when you say them, you are causing hurt and pain to so many people who are probably already suffering from that, either from racist experiences or hateful comments that they've received in the past.
I think when you look at people, if you look at a content creator, that's what I'm gonna call. Okay, I'm talking about the social media aspect, not the celebrity aspect.
Right.
So if you're talking about content creators, or what modern day name influencer, let's break that down first and foremost. You are an individual. You start off on social media and you share your views and your opinions about whatever it is that you like.
Right.
Whether you're a videographer, photographer, whether you're a public speaker, you're a business person, you're an athlete, anything, you're a comedian, and you develop a following. what happens then is when you develop a following, you have people from all walks of life, all ages, looking at you as a sort of escape, perhaps inspiration, perhaps they look up to you, they look at you as a reliable member of the community.
Yeah.
And this, by the way, when I said all walks of life, I literally mean you could have a following of people that come from every background. So what happens is usually when you have that type of following, with that comes great responsibility. You
Yeah.
have a commitment to your community to not only, post what you want, of course, because, that's what you do and that's what you do well in, but
Yeah.
also in a way that you're responsible for the type of information you put in. And what happens usually, what I see is, and specifically I think sometimes on YouTube, because it's much more visual, is you have people that are good at something. They might be good at acting, singing,
Yeah.
whatever, but usually they never shared their personal opinions on camera or recorded or written.
Yeah, on
They've
specific
always had some
topics.
sort of filter.
Yes.
Yeah.
And then what happens is, you obviously follow someone, and we all do it. We follow someone and it's great and everything.
Yeah.
But then all of a sudden comes a personal opinion of theirs on something that's very, let's go with the US, for example.
Yeah.
Taking a few back, this was on Netflix. Okay, so on Netflix they released something called Miss Americana, which was a Taylor
Yeah.
Swift documentary, right?
Yeah.
And it was actually all about not just the things that she had gone through, but there was a huge segment about it that I found interesting, where there was never for a female country singer. So she's a singer. She created that following. Her
Right.
following is a young demographic,
Yeah.
primarily female, and no one ever used their platform to sway a political opinion, as
Yeah.
in Democrat, Republican,
Yeah, I found
etc.
that very interesting
And
also.
so she was one of the first, I
Yeah.
think, if I'm not mistaken, to go into that. And so she did have a public opinion. Now,
Did
This-
she?
yeah, she went
Did you
and she
not see it?
supported.
No.
She
It
went
was very
against.
interesting.
Yeah, so she
I didn't
basically
know.
went against, coming from, I think she's from Nashville, if I'm
Yeah.
not mistaken. So she's from Nashville, and obviously people have expectations, but for the first time ever, she went and she encouraged people to vote against
Yeah.
the Republicans.
Yeah.
Oh, see, that's funny because I mean, to be honest, I don't really follow celebrity news. So for me, I always took her as she actually got a lot of backlash for not using her platform to comment
In the
on-
beginning.
So that's why, because a
Yeah.
lot of people were thinking that, since she does have such a huge power over
Right.
younger people,
Yeah.
that she should use it. But if you look at the behind the scenes of the documentary,
Everyone was telling her not to do it.
I see,
because
okay.
it has such ramifications and
Yeah.
could technically cancel your career.
Yeah.
But,
But then she went and did it.
But to your point, so the point I was trying to make in the beginning is, do we agree with canceling people, or has it gone too far? So when like I said, when it comes to offensive stuff about race or anything very, that's something that's like core to our identity. I think yes, of course, that's very valid, and I think in a way we are maybe now overcorrecting with
Yeah.
a lot of stuff.
That's what I think.
But I think eventually it will balance out, and there won't be so much, outrage at every
Least
little
amount
thing.
of- yeah.
I think eventually it will balance out. But my question to you is, so is it up to people to filter whatever they're taking in, or does the responsibility fall onto the influencer?
The
Because if I
influencer.
look at me personally, I don't ever recall a time where I looked at someone and said, oh, you know what? I believe what they're saying and I'm going to follow this person, and they idolize them.
Yeah.
Yes, I'll respect and admire people.
Yeah.
But I've never been the type of person to, this stranger, essentially, if I'm talking about a celebrity who I've never met, I don't know anything really about other than what is fed to me. I'm not going to base my life decisions on or my thoughts and ideas based off what they're doing.
But I think not everyone is like that.
Yeah, for sure. I think the majority out there, to be honest,
I do.
in some way, and what I'm trying to say is even it could be in a subconsciously, by
Yeah,
the way.
exactly.
Like we have these people that let's say not celebrities, right? Let's say people in our family unit or people that are friends of ours, or I went into a bit of the politics, but sure, let's say leaders or anything around the world,
Yeah.
people that you respect. if they go out and they tell you something that doesn't necessarily seem like it's a very drastic thing, if they go out and tell you, their own personal opinion about whatever it is that they believe in some way, shape, or form, that will end up in your subconscious.
Shape,
you know what I mean?
maybe
So
shape your
it
thoughts.
definitely-
I can see that.
It's not like, oh, go buy that toaster. You're gonna go buy that toaster. But although some people do, but it's those subtle messages as well.
Yeah.
Social media and people have a way of. I mean,
Yeah.
it's why it's something as old as time. You have all these leaders and.
But
I think there was- sorry.
sorry to cut you off, but I think what's also funny is, as outraged and angry as people get at certain things, we have such a short memory these days that the next news cycle, it's gone and forgotten
Yeah.
about. Like, if you think about, if I'm just going to give an example, and this is not to send hate to this person or anything, but if you think about like someone like Kanye West, who has had so many instances where people have been outraged at him.
Yeah.
And then at the same time, if you look at him now, he's so, well, maybe not now after this whole Taylor Swift recording has come out, but if you look at him in the recent months, he's been so celebrated and so like loved, and he's been on every single talk show promoting his new music. So it's just funny, and I don't really have an opinion on him either way, but like, it's just funny how people forget. And change their minds so easily.
But see, going back to you saying whose responsibility is it, I think the responsibility falls on both the influencer and the people listening in, because as the influencer, that person should have some form of a filter, and just to understand that there are internet now and social media now isn't like it was before.
Yeah.
Everyone has access to it.
Yeah.
Everyone around the world. And so you have to be mindful of everyone else out there. At the same time, us as the listeners or the viewers, we should also keep in mind that this person is just talking from their perspective, from that point of view, in that certain point of the world or wherever they may be. They haven't seen it all around the world. Maybe they haven't been exposed to everywhere else. So we do have to be mindful of that person also.
Yeah, I suppose so. But on that note, I just want to put a disclaimer for us from going forward. Our views are our own. Do not make life
Do
decisions
not follow us
based on
blindly.
what we say. These are just our opinions, our thoughts.
I think answering your question, being someone who uses social media quite often and being someone on social media, I think, again, it's...
Okay. You're not just someone on social media. You're verified. You have a blue tick, so you are technically.
I remember.
You're not even. You are literally an influencer.
I remember a good friend of mine in Bahrain, Ali Najjar. The moment that he found out that I was verified on Instagram, he sent me a direct message and he was like, "Calm down, Selena Gomez." Just like what? I don't even get it.
Why Selena? Oh, because she was the most followed.
I think she's still. I don't know.
No, I don't even know.
Answering the question, I think I agree. I think that with Shehlaa, it's a two-way street.
Yeah.
You have to hold responsibility and accountability over what you say, because right now in the world, everyone has access to social media.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
You could offend a bug that lives under a rock. Okay, so anyone can get offended by something that you say.
Yeah.
So as a end user, I have to understand that there's I have to take everything with a grain of salt. I can't take everything seriously. We all come from different backgrounds, different educational backgrounds, different upbringings, different beliefs, different core values. That when you see someone's opinion, it shouldn't affect you as much. However, if someone, I believe this is where it falls on the responsibility of the influencer, if you do something that surpasses everything, that is going against humanity in a way, then that is not allowed. So for example, like racism, for example, is something that is a mankind
or even
thing.
something more current. Racism is constant, it's always there, but I mean, in terms of what's going on in the world right now, I've even seen some people like telling people to ignore safety instructions, like, or prevention methods like staying at home and social distancing.
That is something that, again, it's a global thing, right? And it's something that it reflects all of mankind, and it's the safety of people. So you, as an influencer, or someone that has that responsibility, you should, you shouldn't basically be telling people to
ignore health and safety
health and safety,
instructions,
whatever that may be, or so there's always a way that you can get your point across, I think, without having to insult or belittle a minority, or to make light of someone else's situation that you have no experience in, or any knowledge about. But I do believe in giving people second chances. I think we all make mistakes. We're humans at the end of the day.
Yeah.
And I have seen this whole cancel culture, which I was unaware of until you explained it to me. But I have seen cancel culture take place now that I look back at things. And I do see apologies, obviously come straight after from the individual, whoever they are. And I believe
even sometimes even the apologies, like if they're not done, if people feel you're not being sincere or genuine, they don't take it well, and then that just adds to you're like double canceled.
Yeah, I see. Coming from a PR background, this is my advice. If, for God forbid, you said something or you did something that was, again, that requires you to be canceled in the eyes of your followers or the community, then apologize, be sincere about it, and then just vanish, because like Hassan said, we are a very forgetful community. That it's the fire of that time, and then eventually it goes again. I'm talking about people that did mistakes that are not against the safety of people or have harmed people. Those people, no, they don't need a second chance.
But I have to say that I've always, with social media, I think that's where my fear comes from. Like, I've always been very filtered. Actually, I don't post a lot. And I've always been like, to the point where I get not only Hassan to check what I write, but I get like my sister, or I get you sometimes. I tell you, okay, does this description sound nice, or does it sound bad? Just because I feel like I have to be responsible and be very mindful about who is going to read my my post, my story, whatever it may be.
Something that I do also, and that I send to you guys either privately or in the group, and it's basically things that I post as well. So sometimes when I want to post something, I'm a very emotional individual, and so you know how there's that saying that you wear your heart on your sleeve. I wear my heart on my Instagram stories, if that makes sense, and in my captions. So sometimes when I'm experiencing something, I'm so riled up that I want to share that, and it's nothing about censorship. It's not that I don't share it because I'm trying to censor myself or not to reveal. But the thing is, I actually do write it down. So I advise, if you are someone and you're trying to post something, you don't even have to be an influencer per se or a content creator, but write it down and have someone fact check it, because the thing is, sometimes the power or what you're putting out there in the world, you have to be very careful.
Because I mean, sometimes if you think about it, I agree that filtering yourself can be frustrating and you feel like you're not being authentic, but at the same time, we filter ourselves all the time in daily conversation. We will not say something that we think is gonna hurt someone. If we're talking to a friend or whatever, we're not going to say something that we know might harm them. We're going to filter some of our thoughts, and that's not being fake or inauthentic or lying. I think that's just being kind.
And just being mindful. I think that's very important.
Oh, that's a perfect word. I would say be mindful, because your
words matter.
Your words matter, and at the end of the day, you're literally, it's the world watching. It's not social media has the entire, and whatever you post is going to be there forever.
Exactly.
Like forever. You know what I mean?
With that actually, we had a task in university where the professor told us, you basically have to find a partner, someone that you trust, and you act like you've never met, you don't know each other, you don't know anything about each other, and then you basically just go searching everything you can find about that person.
So basically the show You, but in your university.
Very much so.
For those who don't know, You is a show on Netflix, and it's all about stalking people online. Now going
basically. But so I had my friend Carolina, and she was watching, and she was trying to search up everything she found about me. I couldn't find much about her because it was all in Spanish.
Okay.
And but she found the information that she found about me was crazy. Like,
And wait, you who was like hardly on social media?
exactly, like to the point where she found a blog post. So in way back in grade 8, my professor or my teacher had us do basically every week he would post
Like
on a
essays?
blog. No, just a question, and we would have to discuss about that question. So she found like political views that I had about. I remember about a prime minister at the time or
Oh,
something.
damn. You know what that means, Shehlaa? You cannot run for Prime Minister of Canada anymore.
Sorry. Damn it.
Your
Someone's gonna find your eighth grade.
Your eighth grade stuff
Yeah.
just sabotaged your future.
So it was crazy, and to the point where I was like, I cannot believe she found all this information. So, and looking back at that, I realized like you really have to be very mindful as to what you post, because like never did I think that she would be able to find those blog posts that from eighth grade. And now I'm like, did I really write that? Like, I'm trying to even remember what my thought was, and I don't even remember.
Actually, you having a political opinion on the eighth grade.
Yeah.
I don't know.
I'm very impressed, actually.
I
me
feel
and
like people
Hassan
are
were-
gonna go try to find that right now.
No, me and Hassan were like, I don't know what we were wondering about in the eighth
I think
grade.
in eighth grade, I bought my first like CD.
I was gonna say that.
Yeah.
I mean, okay, but yeah, so I feel like we all have to be very careful, and we have to realize as to what the content that we are putting out there,
Yeah.
whatever it may be, someone will find it and someone will read it.
Yeah.
A CD, for those of you that don't know, is a thing.
Okay, I'm pretty sure our audience is of
You
a
never
similar
know.
age.
Yeah.
to
Google
us.
it if you don't know. I mean, let's not. Now we go back into like floppy disks.
And
like all this stuff.
if you're a younger audience member, what are you doing?
Listening.
Go practice your virtual distance learning.
But
Yeah.
yeah, I mean, honestly, just seeing about what is happening right now in the world, especially now, by the way, I think because going back to what you originally said, a lot of people are on social
Yeah.
media right now.
Yeah.
I think now more than ever, I'm seeing it's not like it's before it used to be, remember, it was like once a year or twice a year you see a cancel culture on that one popular individual.
yeah.
Yeah.
Now it's every 2 days.
There's
you get-
someone or something,
everyone
yeah.
and especially now with the this staying at home and social distancing, I think every person out there, whether they're Hollywood celebrities, politicians, or your average influencer on social media, it's now every 2 hours there's a cancel culture on
Yeah,
them.
because
Yeah.
someone said
And
something.
because someone said something inappropriate. So I think you just have to be very, going back to the words that we said before, be very mindful, be very
Yeah,
careful.
and try not to be tone deaf. Like,
Yeah.
And not just now. If Shehlaa was caught in the 8th grade by her
Oh,
paper,
God.
you have to be like, I can only imagine. You know what we should do after this? Or we should just do a podcast all about us Googling ourselves and reading what we find out. Because, the amount of information you find on the
You
internet,
find.
it's daunting sometimes.
Yeah.
But on a more fun note, I wanted to ask you guys, what are things that you're looking up on social media these days?
Yeah, 'cause I
What's
was-
keeping you busy and occupied?
I was actually just going to say, linking to what actually we were just talking about also is about all these different. So I follow a lot of fashion, makeup. I do watch a lot of mom bloggers now also, or like YouTubers. And the thing is a lot of the times, I don't know. So I don't know what the majority of the people listening, but moms out there usually tend to show this like, oh, la-di-da, I'm a perfect mom, and
they show like the fun, the good.
the fun, the perfect,
Yeah.
house is tidy and spotless, and I'm like, I always have this discussion with my fellow moms or like other moms that I have that are friends, and we're like, how true is that though? It makes us feel less than, and it makes us feel like we're not doing enough.
Right.
Like if you see this mom who has a job and then has a YouTube channel and then has also the perfect spotless house and also does these DIY everything, all these different tasks and things that she does with her kids every day, and then also does gardening and then does
Yeah.
music on the side. Literally, there is one of these. kinds of, there are
Are
these
you
moms.
following Martha Stewart?
No, I wish. Well, actually, yeah, I am. But yeah, it gets a little much sometimes, and you're like, how you're not showing the real life things.
And I think that's a different kind of insensitive. So, like,
Yeah.
I remember when you were pregnant and you'd see these, like, bloggers, like, showing their perfect pregnancy and, like,
Oh
how
my God,
everything's,
don't get
like,
me
so
started about
easy
pregnancy at all.
Yeah.
That is a whole different, like, the idea with pregnancy was they would show literally, like, I remember one time it was, oh, I look too thin, or I don't look pregnant enough. And I'm like,
Just
what?
be grateful that
Just-
I never,
Exactly.
I never even knew that was a term.
No, and yeah, exactly. And they're like talking about, oh, but I don't feel bad, and I don't have any symptoms whatsoever. And I'm like,
And you're
there
complaining?
and I'm there in bed, can't even get out of bed, can't even drink water, let alone actual meals. And this woman's complaining like, oh, but I don't have any symptoms. I don't feel pregnant.
Not to go against you though, but again, that is a two-way street. I think like that's the responsibility not just of them to be sensitive about what they're showcasing, but also the sensitivity of who you follow.
Oh, absolutely,
So
yeah.
what?
No,
'cause
I stopped
who you-
following.
Exactly. So who
Yeah.
you follow, you soak up that energy. I always feel, and I always tell my closest friends, if you follow an account where you feel less than, unfollow.
Yeah.
You know, please don't unfollow me at anything. But basically, if it makes you feel less than in an insecure way, you know, and we all do this,
Yeah.
by the way,
Yeah.
because we, as human beings, we compare, and this is something that we all do subconsciously.
Yeah.
So I'm glad to hear that you went ahead and unfollowed, at least for that time period, because
Yeah.
you should never compare yourself to someone else,
Yeah.
because you yourself go through your own journey.
Yeah.
And this is why I really respect people. And if I can ask you guys this questions, but I'll go first, of who do we follow? Like who do you seek to follow on social media? For me personally, I like to follow people I know and people who are real. If I see someone and I see them, you know, having
Constantly.
wearing this beautiful like fashion like dress,
Yeah.
but
Yeah.
then they look, they're, you know, they have like their eyes crossed and their tongue sticking out or whatever, and they're doing like a goofy face.
Yeah.
Okay, that's someone who's real. I'm not looking on Instagram for something that is, or on
Overly
social media.
Yeah.
produced
I'm not
and-
looking for
yeah.
something that is fake. I'm not looking
Yeah.
for something that is not something that I can or anyone else can kind of reach out to. We're not looking for the perfect. We're looking for
Yeah.
the real. So if
Yeah.
you
Yeah.
look at who I follow, I either follow my friends or I follow people that are real.
Yeah, I think a lot of people now are. That's where what everyone is searching for is real
Yeah.
people and real accounts and real individuals that show their everyday life and not just this perfectly produced, like you said.
Editorial.
Yeah.
Showcasing that, you know, like for example, if someone's like cooking a meal or something and showing
Yeah.
you how to do a meal, but then all of a sudden they have like their hair is perfect, their
Yeah.
look is
Like,
perfect.
I want to see the grease that's on your pan
Yeah.
from like 20 meals ago.
Exactly,
And
like
where do the people find the energy to do this?
Yeah.
Like people are always telling me like, just so that everyone knows as well, I don't only, you know, manage my own pages, but I also manage the social media accounts of all the businesses I own, because that's what I'm
Yeah.
supposed. So managing a job, managing my own businesses, managing
Yeah.
the social media accounts of my own businesses, managing my own social media account, and I hardly have the time. And people are like, "Wow, where do you find the time?" I actually don't. I don't.
Yeah.
I myself don't know.
Yeah.
So
It's
I
a lot
don't
of
know.
pre-planning.
It's a lot of,
yeah.
but
Yeah.
but you know, people out there, they showcase this like just far-fetched fantasy where I think
And
it's
that's again going back to what you said. Like, it's up to us as the viewer or the follower. I
Yeah.
don't like that word, but yeah, as the social media
Yeah.
follower, to realize that a lot of these people have big teams behind them or companies
Yeah.
supporting them, or this is their sole job. So
Yeah.
a lot of them don't have a 9 to 5 where they go to an office or something. This is their bread and butter. So
yeah,
So we have to keep that in mind. But for me, what I follow, honestly, is meme accounts and like accounts that show like TikTok videos or like funny funny clips
Yeah.
and
I
stuff.
mean, they do make you laugh.
Yeah, and I share a lot of those with you, probably maybe too much, more than you would want.
I
But
feel like if I open Instagram right now, I'm just gonna see.
Oh,
like,
there's like 3 memes that I've sent that are waiting for you that you haven't opened yet.
Just?
Just saying.
And the thing about Hassan is he follows all these meme accounts. for maybe someone out there who doesn't know what a meme is, it's basically them taking a picture and writing a caption above it that's funny, or a scene of a movie or something sarcastic. Just search it. You'll definitely have received the meme once in your life. But Hassan follows all these accounts, and the thing is, the majority of the meme accounts online are locked. They're private because they obviously don't want maybe other meme accounts to repurpose what they're producing.
Is that why they do it? Because I never understood that. Like, surely you would want more and more followers. So why would you be private?
I think
it frustrates me so much.
I think it's because of competition, basically. So what Hassan does is in our Instagram mini group, of the three of us, is Hassan always shares it, and me and Shehlaa always say we can't see because we don't follow them.
By now, I usually just say unavailable, unavailable, unavailable.
And so I sent a meme back to them saying, when people say that the meme I shared is unavailable, and it's me just saying, then follow the account. Like, I keep sending you memes from this same account, you might as well follow
Poor
it.
thing still does that, but he sometimes, when he has the time, takes a screenshot and sends us a picture so that we can actually see what the meme is about.
Yeah.
But I think that's a nice thing, that, I mean, if someone's following meme accounts, you're obviously following something that gives you joy and gives you kind of an escape, and that's always important.
Yeah.
I think that's why I love following people that are content creators for travel, because it's so aspirational. Some of them are so talented.
For me, it's a bit touch and go with that, because sometimes it goes very easily into that overly produced or show-offy territory. But it depends.
It depends. No, I don't mean the people that are like, oh, look at me, I'm on a yacht in the middle of the Mediterranean. No, for example, I'm gonna give a shout out to a few, but like Murad Isman or Sam Calder. These are content creators, specifically Sam. His content is beautiful. He goes to like the edges of the world and takes nature on like I've never seen. Sure, yes, both of them admit that they do obviously touch up the photos, and but the thing is, they're not giving you something that is fake.
Right.
They're giving you something that is aspirational, and that's something that everyone wants. It definitely brightens up my day, and it kind of grounds me in a way, because coming from we're city people, so obviously seeing something on Instagram that is something so nature driven just shows you what God has created
and what's out there.
It's so beautiful, so it really grounds
me.
But
you mentioned that they do touch up their photos. Like, for me, I don't think that's a bad thing. I don't think there's anything wrong with touching up photos. I think it's when it goes to a territory where you're essentially lying to people.
Like, what I mean by exactly, about the untouched photos, or just fixing things up. Okay, like, you can edit a photo a bit, but what I'm saying is, like, when photos are completely always perfect, and there's not in your entire feed, there's not one picture that's like of your everyday life.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And I'm just like, okay.
Which, I mean, I guess you want to show the best of you on social media. So I get that. Or if your Instagram profile has a theme or something.
No.
I understand that. But I think you have to, somewhere there has to be authenticity. You have to show yourself a real part of yourself in some aspect.
Something fun is, I want to know, and I'll start off, is how you use your social media accounts. So what do you post? So for example, for me, I always consider my Instagram as what it is, which is my visual diary. I like to look at it like a diary of photos, and I look back and I see moments in history and moments in time, and I remember specifically that moment. So you will see a lot of me, a lot of family moments, a lot of my travels, and that's something that just describes who I am. I love to travel, I love family time, and I love my work, and so that's what you will find on my page. So for me, I don't post for a purpose. I post because it's my own kind of, I'm opening my own kind of a diary of photographs and memories for you guys to see and join with me, but that's how I upload.
For me, I don't post that much now. I go through phases. So I'll go through a phase where I'll post frequently.
This could even be story-wise. Like, even what you share on stories doesn't have to be a static.
Well, I actually just started using stories, so I'm very bad with that. I'm late to the game. The most thing that I use is Twitter, really, and even that is very rare. But I'm more of a consumer of content.
Okay.
I don't put much stuff out there. But I mean, if you go to my Instagram, you'll see it is very. A lot of them are very edited, but they are just scenic photos, most of them. And for a while, I've been going with a color theme. So you'll see like one section is red, and then it goes to like
Orange,
orange, and then yellow, blue.
But you've always been like since we were kids, you've always been a creative person because
I know,
by the way,
yeah.
he's such a talented artist.
Yeah,
Would that
like
Thank
he
you.
has-
I wouldn't.
Would you call it a cartoonist?
No, but he does
an
have,
artist?
yeah, like he can draw.
Yeah, he used to actually. That's how we used to before the age of social media. That's how we used to entertain ourselves because we didn't
Yeah.
have laptops, obviously, growing up. And so I used to
Yeah.
always tell
Actually,
Hassan
if
to
you-
draw
You
for
have
me.
a book. Don't you have
Yeah.
a book with all those stories that you guys showed me once?
Yeah, we
basically
like
have.
our drawings were like our memes of the time. Like when we wanted to express a joke, kind of.
I
or-
love how you included me in this when I am the world's worst drawer. When he says our drawings, he means the drawings I forced him
when-
to make.
Exactly, that's what I mean. Like we would like come up with this whole bit or like
Yeah.
funny scene in our head, and then I would draw it out. And that was, I think, for our time, that was our memes.
You know, and it was so funny because obviously, for those who know me, know that I love writing, and I love if you even follow me on, I love writing stories, and so I would always come up with these stories with him, and he would be the artist, I would be the script writer, and he'd be the artist, and then that became kind of like our
Aw,
but
perfect.
we would never show that book to anyone. Though.
Perfect match.
So embarrassing.
Yeah, even me, you didn't show it to me until like years after. So I was just way into it. I couldn't get out.
Yeah. What about you? What do you post? Or
I usually, for story wise, I usually post like if I'm making a meal
Yeah.
or if I'm cooking, I would try with that.
Or if I want to know what I'm going to eat the next day, I know because I follow her and I see
Yeah.
her story and I'm like, okay.
But if it's not story, if it's just posts, I usually just post that are more memories and the pictures I've taken years ago or months ago at least.
Yeah. I've noticed some of your stuff that you post are major moments in your life. So I see,
Yeah.
like, for example, your wedding, the birth of your baby,
Yeah.
the first photo shoot taken by me of your baby.
Yeah.
My photography skills are there for rent. If anyone wants to, you can send me a DM.
No joke though, Saleh is such a talented photographer.
Maybe
All the
we
photos
should
on our
actually do
Instagram,
a business where we
he
take
takes.
pictures.
I would like to not insult any photographer out there. I am an okay iPhoneographer. Give me a camera and I'll be so lost. But I do love taking
iPhone pictures?
iPhone.
No, I think you
photos.
deserve the credit.
No, yeah.
You are a
I'll give you a nice
photographer.
clap.
Thank you.
Just because you don't use a Nikon or whatever.
And just so
it
that you
doesn't mean
guys
you're-
know, I'm holding a bottle of water and considering it my Oscar. Thank you. I would like to thank the Academy.
But on that note, I think we'll wrap up this episode. Thank you all so much for listening.
And if you guys, again, want to engage with us, let us know your thoughts, suggestions, ways we can improve. You can always reach us on our Gmail account. So we have an email, letsallscream.podcast@gmail.com. Or you can follow us on Instagram and DM us or send us a comment, or even Facebook. Our Instagram account is @letsallscream.
Yeah, all right. I think that's it. Thanks, guys.
Thanks you guys for
Thank
tuning
you.
in, and we'll see you next week.
Bye.